This is Vic Patel with Craft Express.
My name is Ashley from Artistry.
It's Gavin, founder, creator of Seps.io, and you're listening to
Two Regular Guys podcast,
Hosted by
Terry Combs RG, regular guy.
and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
The best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
Prepare for the wild.
All right, welcome into the show. It is Friday, May 24th, 2024. We might have to pump the brakes on 2024 here.
Yeah, if you could slow that down, Terry, that would be awesome.
I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and I'm with Our Success Group, and our mission is to inspire you to build a business that you love. And we're getting into a topic today that we all love here on the Two Regular Guys. You've heard Terry reference this many, many times, and we're going to dig deep into the concept that he came up with. It's a fantastic concept. I borrow it from him all the time, but it's called 5215 training, and we're going to delve into whether you're a crisis management business or a training-based business. And if you guys want to start taking any wagers right now, I think this is a pretty sure bet that we know where Terry falls on this side of the spectrum here, but going to be a great conversation today, Terry.
Yeah, exactly. Because we refer to this now and again, but it's been some time since we've actually kind of delved into how it all works. So I'm looking forward to doing this today.
Yeah. I think like I said, I love it so much, and I talk about it a little bit, but yeah, getting into the real weeds of this, I'm not sure. Obviously, looking back over, this is episode 549, by the way. So looking back over 500 plus episodes, I don't think that we ever actually broke this down in detail in all of these years. So, I'm sure we got a little bit more into detail in different places where it came up, but this is really good because I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but this whole crisis management versus training based business, I'm not sure that ever came up. So I'm glad that we're getting into that. So anyhow.
Yeah, well, and I probably kept it a secret because I don't want to give away all my secrets. Oh, by the way, that's one of the bullet points.
I was going to say, hold on a second.
All right, well, make sure you stay till the very end for your helping of the secret sauce. Aaron and I today are going to be both doing that secret sauce presentation, both two cooks in the kitchen, as you mentioned earlier, Aaron. We're going to be talking about time study for production efficiency. Ties right into what we're talking about today.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, two cooks in the kitchen. I'll try to not get in the way or spill too much on you, Terry, but we'll have a good time. So love it. All right. Well, before we get into the meat of the program here, though, we do have some news for you. Cassie Green from The Apparelist has got some news items together for us here, and leading us into, for those of us in the United States, the Memorial Day weekend upcoming. So are you ready to hear all the news from Cassie here?
Yeah, actually, there's one of her news items I was curious about already. So I'm very excited to hear her talking about the NFL player and the contract blunder.
All right. Here we go. All right. Here's Cassie.
Hi, regulators. So happy to be bringing you the news right before this amazing holiday weekend. Let's get into it and get you on your way so you can enjoy the rest of your long weekend. First headline for everybody today. NFL player caught in contract blunder, Fanatics sues. Apparel manufacturer Fanatics files a lawsuit against Arizona Cardinals rookie receiver for allegedly breaching a contract, according to the Associated Press. The lawsuit, which was filed in the New York Supreme Court, claims that Marvin Harris Jr., quote, did not fulfill his obligations, and damages are estimated to be in the millions of dollars. The suit says Harrison Jr. was approached by Fanatics for a long-term deal, which was, quote, heavily negotiated. Harrison Jr. and Fanatics came to an agreement, and a binding term sheet was finalized, says the suit. Harrison Jr. signed the deal with Fanatics during his tenure as a receiver at Ohio State in May 2023, reports AP. Details of the Fanatic contract were redacted, while Harrison Jr. denies the contract's existence. However, ESPN does report the $1 million deal includes autographs, signed trading cards, game warm apparel, and other marketing opportunities. The suit says Harrison was paid in August and October of 2023, but claims Harrison, quote, has refused to fulfill his obligations after several requests to do so in the last few months, according to ESPN. Very interesting story. Make sure you check out all of the details. Our second headline is all about an upcoming webinar that we're hosting. OSHA cracks down on apparel decorators. Here's why you need to attend this webinar. Within the last year, OSHA has intensified its enforcement policies, increasing the penalties for violations. As a result, the screen printing industry in particular has felt the effects, experiencing a surge in inspections. And because of this aggressive approach by OSHA, print shops have dealt with more scrutiny, particularly around amputation risks. So if OSHA comes knocking, you do not want to be unprepared for the inspection. To help you avoid potentially catastrophic consequences, Printing United Alliance is hosting a webinar to educate screen printing shops on preparing for and navigating inspections. The webinar is titled Apparel Decorators Under OSHA's Microscope. Stay compliant, stay safe. It will take place on June 12th from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be co-hosting the webinar with the Alliance's Gary Jones, who is the Vice President of Environmental Health and Safety Affairs. And this is going to be a really good one. We've already gotten several calls from shops, and Gary has definitely lent his expertise to several Alliance members. So make sure you sit in on this webinar. Again, June 12th from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Final headline for everybody this morning. Champion promotes mental awareness, unveils weighted hoodie prototype. I love this headline. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Champion Activewear just revealed an innovative prototype aimed at championing mental health. Love to use the word champion and championing in one sentence. Let's just throw that out there. The Champion weighted hoodie marks the company's step into wearable weighted products and adaptive apparel. Champion says the inspiration for the weighted hoodie came from consumers. In a 2022 brand survey of 19 to 35-year-olds, 90% of respondents expressed interest in calming techniques and a weighted wearable product. Champion saw a need for a stress and anxiety relieving product, and thus the weighted hoodie was born. The Champion collaborated with Thera on the prototype. Thera is a small business founded by Jenny Rosenberg, who began manufacturing weighted wearable products during the pandemic. The Champion weighted hoodie will be available in stores and at champion.com beginning in September 2024. There are a lot more details about this story, so definitely click on the link to learn more. That's everything I have for you guys today. I hope you all enjoy a wonderful holiday.
Wow, those news items, bam, bam, and bam, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Did you get the information you were looking for about your beloved Ohio? Well, you're not at Ohio State. Never mind.
No, but he's
Still
playing
Ohio.
for the Cardinals, and I am a season ticket holder. So
Okay.
even though I'm a Chiefs fan at heart, I was at the draft party over here by the stadium when he was selected fourth in the draft, and the place went nuts.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those, hey, I signed the deal when I was in college, and now I'm professional, and I'd like a little more cash, please.
Yeah,
that's my take, but interesting.
Yeah.
But
Very interesting.
and this is going to happen now that college athletes can now get the NIL money. So
Yeah, exactly.
It's all part of college basketball, college football recruiting now. So
yeah, for sure.
It's a different world every
and
day.
And it does trickle into our business, right? I mean, we've got people around us that are, very heavily involved in this type of thing, and merch is one of those things that is a avenue to generate income for these kids.
And if you're in a college campus, it doesn't have to be Ohio State. It could be Ohio University, where I went to school. They're still players there getting NIL money, and guess what? That money's going to go for T-shirts, it's not going to go for it's going to be generated by T-shirts and products like that. So there's lots of opportunities for decorators by these things happening in professional and non-professional sports. And are they non-professional if you have $1 million NIL deal at UCLA?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I don't know. Interesting stuff for sure. All right. Well, Terry, we've got some folks checking in with us here already this morning. So Chuck, a good morning to you, and Ramona, thank you for being here this morning. So let us know how you guys are doing. If you guys notice, we're not quite as on top of a few things, but Eric is unable to join us this morning. So if I'm a little scattered, that's why. I'm trying to kind of get to everything, but I think we're doing okay. So we'll see how we go here. But
there was a day when it was just you and me.
That's right. That's right. We weren't doing video and segments and stuff, but Eric kind of opened up a new world for us. But all right. Well, dad jokes, though, whether we've got Eric or not, that's just a requirement, right? So
I think so too, Aaron. And I see from our potential list of dad jokes, you have a few in there, and you're going to be our dad joker today.
I am. And well, before we get to the dad joke, though, I do want to give a shout out to my friend Michelle Wilson, who sent me the dad joke calendar, and I forgot to flip the month to May. And when I flipped the month, I'm like, oh, there's some good dad jokes there. So we're bringing a couple of those calendar dad jokes to you here. So are you ready for it, Terry?
My dad joke calendar was a major fail. Each joke is stupider than the last one.
Yeah, there's some bad ones on here, but I think this one's a pretty good one. So you ready?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Okay. All right, Terry. Well, I've heard there's this new miracle pill that will cure procrastination.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably try it tomorrow, I think. Maybe.
I love it. When I saw that, I thought, oh, yeah, I need to work on my 2024 New Year's resolutions. I got to wrap those up.
There you go. There's no time like the present. I am doing a seminar in Washington, Missouri tomorrow, where we're talking about, okay, where are you at with your 2024 goals? It's okay. You can get started on them right now in May and still accomplish it. So
Washington, Missouri, that's in Western Missouri.
It's kind of so it's about an hour southeast from where I'm at here in St. Louis.
Okay.
So kind of central Missouri.
I have to check my historical facts, but as I recall, there is a cannonball stuck in a building in Washington, Missouri, and I don't at this minute recall the story behind it. But
okay,
when you're there,
I will confirm.
Wow.
Yeah, that I'm going to do this with a group that is all about Washington, Missouri businesses, and so I will ask those folks if there's a cannonball in one of their buildings.
Yeah, and people don't know that after all these years of doing the show, I'm kind of a history nerd and filled with what I like to call facts that have no monetary value. I know all facts that have no monetary value.
Well, we find a way, though. There's something good that we pull out of it, and yeah, your Civil War history is second to none, I'd say. So whenever I have a question, I go to Terry for sure.
All right. Before we dive in, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We still need to hear your voices. We would love to have all the regulators participate in our new show intros. Go to decorators.ink/intro and just read a few sentences and be a part of every show. We love to have more regulators participate. Don't be left out. We are always looking for new guests. So if you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2 regular guys to book a future episode, or email us at info@tworegularguys.com with your show ideas. if you are listening to the podcast version of the show, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. We would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, YouTube Podcast. Wherever you do your podcast listening, we are there. And it really is helpful to us if you're enjoying the show to give us those reviews. And if you're watching us live right now, we would really love your comments and your questions on the whole concept of training your staff. So looking forward to having this conversation, Aaron.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a great conversation. And one other ask I have of you guys that are tuned in live right now, do us a favor, go out there and share this on your social media channel. Let's get some more people in here so we can have a deeper conversation about what this 52-15 training concept is. And Terry, it's interesting because you know how to train your staff, and I'm going, okay, I'm a solopreneur. My staff meetings are typically in here, right? But you can still use this concept, so it's all good. It's solopreneur or not.
Absolutely, you can, because even if we're a business of one, we still need education. We still need to get those creative juices flowing up here.
Exactly. All right, Terry. Well, let's dive into this. This is a great topic, and I'm so grateful that you're going to break this down for us, because we talk about you and in your current role as a sales guy, your classes, seminars. So we kind of get this picture of you, right? I put in the description, he's the pretty face here on Two Regular Guys, right? But I think what people might not know about you is you spent years and years and years as a production floor manager on some very large businesses. And so you told me that's where you came up with this concept for the 52-15 training. And so can you just start us off by kind of explaining what 52-15 training means?
Absolutely. The 52-15, 52 weeks, 15 minutes a week. And let me shift 180 degrees real quick though, and say what it isn't.
Okay.
In most garment decorating shops, there's zero training. And maybe 1% training, because that's your onboarding. And how does that training happen in most shops? And Aaron, I've been on, I've been a solopreneur, and I've run production floors with 75 production floor employees. I've been on production floors that have hundreds of employees, and nobody's got cornered the market on this. If you're comparing your business of 3 people or 8 people or whatever, the larger businesses are just not doing it on a larger scale. And so what's the training consist of? Watch what he's doing, or help her load shirts and watch. Here's one you'll love, Aaron. Watch these YouTube videos. We could do another whole show on YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Again,
I've got a good one for you.
There's lots of good information, but you need to know how to weed out the bad information. And unfortunately, all you need is a phone and access to a computer to post yourself as an expert. And it's so funny, Aaron, in my screen printing classes, I have the same bad information. And I've been doing those classes for over 20 years.
Yeah.
From year one, the same bad information, it's just getting spread faster and easier on the internet. There's just so much poor information. And I'm not saying, hey, do it my way, because in my classes, I say, here are the options on how to do this. Pick the one that works best for you. But not among those options are some of the really, really horrendous information out there that people are trying to share. So,
Terry, real quick though, you were talking about, learning, watch this person do it, watch the YouTube video, right? I think I probably shared this on the show before, but I've seen it to where the training was, oh, you're a temp. Here's the temp that's been here a week longer than you have. So they're going to teach you, right? And this was a company doing millions of dollars in business. That was their training program.
Well, I started to say, I've mentioned this on the show before, but that goes without saying. 549 episodes. Yeah. But I had a job. degree in journalism. I had a job with a magazine company once, and I kept asking one of the other employees on day one, well, where's this? Where's the coffee maker? How do you do this? Where's the,
Yeah.
what's the receptionist's name again?
Yeah.
And finally she goes, Terry, I started the day before you did. So, I'm like, I had no
Got
idea.
that
You
story.
should have said that on question number one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Tuesday. You started Monday.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
while you're getting into that, Terry, I want to throw this question out there for the folks that are tuned in live. How does the training look in your shop? Share details with us, right? And this is not to call anybody out. This isn't to say you're doing it wrong, like Terry said, what works for you. But I think you're going to really take some really good points away from Terry's conversation here. So, okay, we get what it's not, right? Is there anything else that we should cover on that side first?
Well, just that there has to be some level of onboarding training for the overall operation, your company culture, your expectations. Start talking expectations on day one, not when you call somebody into the office and say, hey, you've been here for 90 days and here's what you should have been doing. Expectations day one. But the 5215 is ongoing training for all your employees. And Aaron, let's put a pin in onboarding training, because I think we should do a whole show about onboard training for future. But 5215 is ongoing training. So what does this mean? Setting aside 15 minutes every week for training and education. This is bite-sized slices of information about what you do every day in your business. And most of it is second nature to you, but it's not to your employees. It's not second nature. They not only need the information, but they need the why. Why do we do it like this? Why have we chosen this direction? So, and let me add something. And Aaron, I talk to businesses every single day in my role as sales. One company will say to me, man, I have the best employees ever. I mean, you talk about giving their all. It's just, last Friday, I knew everybody wanted to go home, but half my crew stayed here by choice till 7 o'clock to make sure that we got the work done. The next person I talk to will say, oh, you can't hire anybody. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to, and yeah, I know that sometimes you have to do a little differently with younger employees today than maybe in the past. A lot of us grew up in a different world, but I believe still it's true. Everybody wants to do a good job. Everybody wants to come to work and accomplish something. They're not there just to get a paycheck. If they're there just to get a paycheck, look in the mirror. That attitude comes from you, not from them. So, and I know that's hard to take, but people.
Amen, brother. Keep preaching.
and I believe this too, that by doing something like 5215, your employees want to work for a company or an employer. They want to work for you. Because you share and you teach and you help them to be better at what they do, and it's it's a company culture. 5215 is a company culture. It's a culture of all of us. Well, Aaron, those rising tides, right?
Yep, exactly.
5215 is rising tides within your own company. So, anyway, people want to do good work, and that's why 5215 is there.
Yeah. No, I think, man, it's so important what you shared there too, because it is hard. We don't want to hear that we need to look in the mirror. But if you go back and look at the root of any of the challenges that you're facing in your business, you can find something in it, right? Because everything so I'm going to get into my self-help mode here a little bit, but everything around us, right? We've either created, promoted, or allowed, right? So if your employees are not doing, the expectations or whatever, well, how did you create, promote, or allow that, right? Did you create that by the way you're treating them? Did you allow that by not setting expectations early enough, right? Did you promote that by your attitude towards them? I think this, and And by simply bringing in this 52-15 concept, like you said, it can become a company culture that people like, oh, they do care about me and my knowledge and my ability, right? Like you said, they do want to do a good job. They just don't know how. And so most of the time they go and hide and just try to, and then you get that, oh, they're just here for a paycheck. No, you just didn't give them an opportunity to do any more than that. So
Yeah, I guess we should also put a pin in micromanage your business to success. And
we've been writing that book for a
what I've
while.
been working on.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but,
We should
but
actually do the
that's
dang
also
book
an
about it.
attitude thing. If you're a micromanager and most of you don't know that you are, and you say nobody's motivated and nobody's trying to figure out solutions, that's because you're a micromanager. You are you did a good job on that, but if you're every compliment you give has a but, then you're a micromanager, and sometimes you gotta swallow it, and swallow your criticism and allow people to find their way, and as I said, they want to do a good job for you.
Yeah. All right. I'm making notes. I don't have the yellow legal pad, but I just write it on my desk here. So, and then take a picture of it. Well, man, this is good stuff, Terry. Like you said, we should write that book and actually write it like we're writing a real book. And then just at the end say, this is completely satirical. The opposite of this is true, but hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hopefully you read to the end.
Yeah, exactly. If you got, yeah. Oh man, I'm putting this new book into play. It tells me that. No, read it. All right. Sorry, I got us off track, Terry. All right. Well, this is really good stuff, Terry. It's sitting here talking about it, right? This is a no-brainer. Like, why aren't people doing this? So I guess that's my question. Why do you think so few people try to implement something like this?
If you were to ask someone that was running a business or managing a business, the first response is going to be, I don't have time. We're too busy. We're already behind as it is. I can't take out time to do this. That's why I hired you. That's why I have new employees. We can't keep up. We're too busy to do something so out of left field like 52-15. All we could do is say, hey, watch this guy, watch this woman, and see how they do it, and we'll have you on a press, or we'll have you running an embroidery machine next week. So, but I want to dig into that, what the real reasons are here in just a minute, Aaron.
Yeah, I think you're right, because that's exactly what I hear too when I talk to people about the challenges and why they're not training their employees and things like that, right? And so yeah, let's dig into that. But good point, Terry. Read to the end. So comment there from Collegiate Press wide format. So thank you for that. All right. Well, Terry, as I mentioned at the top of this, I don't think we've ever really dug into this, and I'm sure we have at some level. Like you said, 549 episodes, it probably came up, but not so directly stated like this, right? So crisis management versus training-based business. How does this kind of fit into this whole thing?
Well, if Eric could have joined us today, he would have probably flashed up on the screen. Episode number 327. We did discuss.
He probably would have. Oh, man,
he's not only the producer, but he's like the archive scholar.
He really is. He's too smart for his own good sometimes.
Well, Aaron, and from your observation of all the businesses that you work with, you know this. A lot of this uphill struggle that a business has, we don't have time, we're already behind, comes from not, it's not from we've got too much business, but it's a lack of training and expertise of your staff to be able to process the orders that you have. And it's it's chaos on a lot of production floors, and there's a lot of business out there, or and you don't want to save this for when you don't have business. I mean, it's always good when like during COVID, we did a lot of shows on, hey, let's take this time to do some training. Let's take this time to look at some other technologies. But the reason chances are that you're really behind is because you don't have a staff that really has a clue of what they're doing or why they're doing it. So it's when I go into a production shop, and this is probably ill of me to say, but I remember going into a shop years ago and calling back home to Columbus, Ohio, and saying, well, man, it's really something here. And my wife at the time said, so do you think you can help them? And I said, I could spit on the floor and it would be an improvement in this place. It is that chaotic. It's a nightmare situation. They were doing $3.5 million in sales. Yeah. And it was like watching chickens running around in the farmyard.
Yeah.
But I straightened them out, by the way.
Oh, good for you. I figured you did. I made that assumption. And I guess this is where, for me, right, like I like to take this to that kind of next level, because when you start in your business making these like what seem like empirical statements, like we're too busy, I don't have time, those types of things, I think you've got to change your mindset and understand that when those things show up for you, when you hear yourself saying that, to use that as a sign to go, well, why? Right? Find a solution for that. Like, we're too busy. Okay. Or we don't have time. Well, have you made time? Like, somehow we always figure out how to get things done. Right? This kind of miraculous, last minute push, and somehow we get there and we don't ever know how.
Exactly. We've been behind Monday through Thursday, and on Friday we found a way to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, but it's been chaotic and difficult the whole way. And so maybe if you stopped and implemented something like 5215, you would still find a way, but it wouldn't be so chaotic. And so I think that's kind of my point is, if you find yourself saying, I just don't have time, or we're too far behind, I would challenge you to go, okay, well, let's make time, right? There's got to be a solution. Let's find a solution. And 15 minutes once a week, right? I mean, that's the other part that is so wild to me about this thing, Terry, is that you're not asking them to, shut down their shop for a week and do on the job training and like,
right. We're gonna strip this thing down to the bones and build it back up again. It's just such a minor contribution of time. And do you see results the first week? No. Do you see results the fourth week? Probably not. But do you start seeing results in 10 weeks? At the end of a year, I will absolutely guarantee, no matter what kind of production you're doing, at the end of a year, you will have the best trained staff in your area, in your tri-state area, in the state of Montana, wherever you are. You will have the absolute best trained staff, because very few people do this. Very few people take 15 minutes every week to make this happen. So
yeah, for sure. All right. Let me get Jan's comment real quick here. She said, when I hired my first employee, I had one thing in the back of my mind. I did not want her screwing up my machines. That was my motivation, to give this person the best on the job training I could provide. There you go. So whatever motivates you, just do it. Well, all right, Terry. So you mentioned, right, like there's some actual real reasons, but what I would call root causes of these, reasons to say, I'm not going to do this type of training, right? Why so few people? Yeah, it's not for me, right? So give us that the real reasons, please.
Oh yeah, there are ulterior motives, even if you don't know that you have the ulterior motives. The first one is, and we joked about this at the intro of the show, I don't want to give up my secrets. So, okay, first of all, you don't have any secrets. And if you're a screen printer, guess what? Screen printing is screen printing is screen printing. Yeah. Just like embroidery, just like, and yeah, have we all figured out little tricks here and tricks there? We have. Guess what? Other people figured out the same thing. But what's this really translate to? I don't want to give up my secrets. I don't have confidence in myself or my business. So I'm afraid my employees will know I'm faking it and start their own business. I can do this better than this person. And so they're afraid that I'm not ahead of the game enough to trust that if I share this information, someone's not going to take it and say, I can do this better. And we talked about this before too, but my employees don't care and don't want to learn. They just want a paycheck. It's the same thing that we talked about. They do want to learn. They do want to become better at what they do. And guess what? And when opportunity knocks out there, they're going to stay with you. They're going to see other companies. And I've had people do this. I've had people take a job with a competitor and call me up a week later and say, hey, I'm really sorry. Can I come back? This place over here is just, it's just not your shop. It's chaos. And I think they thought I was going to bring all this great information with me, but it's just, they're not set up for it. It's just not going to happen. So anyway, a couple of other things that people say. I don't think I could come up with 52 things to share over a whole year. Where I don't know where to start, and beyond, I don't have confidence in what I'm doing all myself. I don't know where to start. That's a reasonable thing. Aaron, you and I are kind of cut from a different cloth when it comes to this kind of thing, because we both know how incredibly important it is to have a well-trained staff and a cross-trained staff as well. Because when I talk about 5215 and we're talking about emulsion, everybody comes to the training. The shipping department's there, the art department's there, because everybody needs to have an understanding of what we do. And sometimes people don't leave because I'm going to go and start my own business. I'm going to go and work for this competitor and make a lot of extra money because I'm smarter than all their employees because I used to work over here at ABC Company. Sometimes, your spouse gets a way better job in Sacramento. Well, we're picking up and we're going to Sacramento, and you congratulate them and send them on their way. And guess what? You have a really well-trained staff, and maybe somebody's waiting there in the wings to take over that position because they already understand about emulsion. They already understand squeegees. They already understand plastisol ink. They already understand how to thin down your inks. They already understand film positives. And so you have a wealth of knowledgeable people working in your business that have the ability to move up or move over to another position, and you just keep going 5215 every week, 5215 every week, and you have this well of really well-trained employees who understand how to do what it is your company does. So
and I guess the last point, right? So you've got that, but we don't know where to start. So we're going to give you some places to start, but let's take a quick break here because we also have some great comments in there from Jan and Jay Bassell and some other things we can get to. But real quick break, we'll be right back. You are a business owner. Congratulations. Is it what you had imagined or hoped for? Do you love what you get to do, or does your business feel like you have to each day? If you're ready to let go of what's holding you back, simplify your business, enjoy confidence in your future, and start earning what you deserve, join the OSG community in St. Louis, Missouri on June 7th and 8th. Transform your business, implement the fundamentals, and leave in full motion of your plan to fall back in love with your business. Go to osg.link/funlive. You'll see significant progress faster than you think. Why? Because we strip your business down to the foundation, equipping you with the tools for accountability. No stress, no pushing, just fun. It's time to break the cycle of overwhelm. Join us June 7th and 8th, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Visit osg.link/funlive. We will see you there. All right,
awesome.
Terry. Yeah, yeah. So you guys have heard that before, maybe, but I wanted to put the agenda up there just for everybody to see it. We're gonna jam pack that. You, yeah, you want to know how to train your. Okay, let's get clear on who you are first, and do some other things
Exactly
like
right.
that. We're gonna get. We'll put 5215 in there. I'd love it. Let's do it. All right.
Understood.
So let's hit a couple of comments here, and then let's get into where do we start, Terry. Okay. So Jay says, I'm pretty sure I've heard you guys mention this before, but when we use the phrase, I don't have time, what we're really doing is lying to ourselves. We are simply choosing not to prioritize tasks or procrastinate whenever it is truly needed to get done. Of course, me knowing this doesn't mean I've mastered the situation. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. I tell people that all the time, and then I go, oh, what did I prioritize today? All right.
Hey, Jay, if you were at the top of the show during the dad joke, you might have seen that there apparently is a procrastination pill. So
Yeah, yeah. Terry and I plan on taking that tomorrow-ish, maybe.
yeah,
We'll see. Yeah,
maybe over
we'll
the
get
week.
to it, maybe. All right. And then Jay says, Jan has secrets. And Jan says, I do. Secret number one, go to trade shows, go to classes, learn, right? Go to Fundamentals Live. Join us, Tanya says. Can't wait. So yeah, Tanya, can't wait to coming up June. It's right around the corner. So pretty darn excited. This is your opportunity. If you're interested at all, and whatever is holding you back is just there, just reach out to me, please. You can, I'm easy to find. Just direct message me, any of the platforms, that doesn't matter. Email me, aaron@oursuccessgroup.com. We'll figure it out. Right. So, Jan says, secret number two, CCAP mentors, OSG, a great place to start. Oh, thanks, Jan. Appreciate that. All right. Speaking of places to start, Terry, 5215. Like you said, I don't know where to start. I don't know what, okay, where do I start?
Okay, first of all, the training is always at early in the week, Monday or Tuesday, never on Friday. Because
Okay.
if you find yourself behind, what's the first thing you're going to do? Okay, we'll just do it next week. We'll just skip and do it next week. It's just like any other thing. It's just like if you're a runner and you skip a day and then suddenly skip another day, then all of a sudden you realize, you know, I don't think I'm a runner anymore. I haven't been running in 2 weeks. It's you have to stick to this every single week. So Monday, and if Monday is like, you know, okay, let's see where we are day, then Tuesday's a perfect day to do 5215 training. And if your workday starts at 8, from 8 to 8:15, and this doesn't have to be 15 minutes. This is just a concept.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 10 minutes. Maybe it's 20 minutes. You don't want to go overdo it. And that's why I like to break it down into little tidbits, just tiny little parts of the business. And I already mentioned that trainings for everybody. You know, when I do my screen printing classes, I'm going to be at Atlas Screen Supply in 2 weeks. And I know I've mentioned this on the show before, but every employee at Atlas Screen Supply, no matter whether you're in sales, you answer the phone, you are the assistant box packer in the back, everybody must attend my screen printing class. And why? Because Atlas Screen Supply, they understand that everybody in their company needs to understand what business they're in.
Yeah.
Do they print t-shirts? No, but they sell the ink, they sell the screens, they sell the emulsion. They want everybody that works there to have a working knowledge of that process that customer's calling about. So it's just, that's one of the reasons I've been doing classes there for, 15 years, is because of that type of attitude they have about their customers. Because not all of our suppliers, by the way, are very knowledgeable about what we do. I tell people that come to my class, you will probably know more about this process than most of the suppliers you talk about by spending 2 days here in this class. But so where am I going to start? I'm going to start, and Aaron, I love to make lists. So you want to list all the steps in your process, and then break it down, and then break it down some more. Just tidbits, just tiny bites of what you do, and once you take that list and you've broken it down, and I'm going to talk about, in direct to garment, I'm going to talk about the different types of pre-treat. and I'm going to talk about how to properly apply pre-treat, and I'm going to
Yeah.
talk about how to properly cure pre-treat. And so pre-treat seems like a pretty simple thing. I'm spraying it on a shirt. Well, I can probably do 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 sessions on the pre-treating process. So break it down, break it down, break it down. But then what you're going to do is just you're going to note on there, what do I personally feel proficient that I could talk about this for 5 or 10 minutes
Yeah.
with an employee, or 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Do I have anybody in house
Yes.
that I could put their name next to it? Because you don't have to do this all yourself. In
Yeah.
fact, you gradually are going to back away and back away. And all of a sudden it's an employee generated type of education. And so then you're going to note other people that are able to take on some of that training role. And it's hard at first, but it gets easier and easier and easier. And once you start, then the ideas just start flowing about all the things. And you think, man, next week can't come fast enough for me to talk about this, and can't come fast enough for me to talk about that.
Yeah.
So,
Terry, real quick on that. The other thing that stood out for me in that is, right, just that process of breaking it down in the steps, and like I said, break it down some more. That's huge for you as a business owner.
yes.
And then, like you said, putting some names next to that, turning that over, right? So maybe you are talking about the sales process, right? What are the key components of how your salespeople talk to their customers, right? And so that could be led by the sales manager, that could be led by your salesperson, right? And then not only because I've found that I learn more a lot of times by actually doing the training, because if I have to tell somebody else how to do it, then I have to get into the weeds, the details of it, right? And so I think that's huge. So all right, I love it.
100%. And you think, well, maybe I don't, what are the different emulsions people could use? And so you do a little research, and it doesn't take you a ton of time, but all of a sudden you are also educating yourself about these different things. So here's what I like to do. And, maybe you can do it on a tablet or something, but I print out a worksheet, and it's 3-ring punched, but it's got blanks, and it talks about, it has spaces for writing in notes. And if people start writing notes, I know for me anyway, if I'm writing it down, I'm absorbing that information better. And then I give them a ring binder where they put their 5215 notes in. And any of your screen printing friends out there would be more than happy to print your company name and 5215 training right on the front of that notebook for you. If you're a screen printer, just buy a little vinyl ink, and you're off and ready to go. And so Aaron, after a year or so, you could start repeating some of this, but you can also add to it. You can update, you can present new subjects. So all of a sudden your 52 concepts, by the end of the next year, maybe it's 78 concepts, because, and then, and you repeat, first to remind people, second, if there's new information about it, third, it's catching up all those new employees, that are sitting there building their own notebook. And hey, you know what? I'm not going to make you turn that in when you leave. I'm going to say, this is something this is a benefit to you that's going to, you can take with you and for your ongoing edification. So.
Yeah, I love that. So good, so good. All right, Jan says, love that, Terry. Binder and notes, make your employees your trainers also. Jay earlier mentioned, love Terry's point about giving others a chance to take the lead. And Tanya says, yes, I learn more by doing. And yes. I missed the show. We'll be replaying. All right, good, Tanya. That's excellent.
Hey, Aaron, and when you talked about, let me see, I already lost my train of thought, but I'll come back to it. It'll come to me.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And while you're coming back to it too, Terry. Okay, so now we've got some ideas, right? But maybe we feel like we need some more resources. Like, what are some resources people could turn to have some more training material? I'm using air quotes there.
Yeah, first is you, the owner or the manager. You obviously know something about this business. You've been successful enough to hire people to help you produce products. So you're number one on that resource. Obviously, your employees that are in this business or been with you for a while, they're number two. Online videos. Again, we talk about YouTube. I have no problem with online videos as long as it's the correct information and you're getting it from a reliable source. There's nothing wrong with having the TV in the break room and watching a 10-minute video and having a conversation about it.
Well, that last part's the key, though, Terry. I think that you just mentioned because okay, sit people down. Here's the video. Watch the video. Okay, 5250 training's over for the week. No.
Yeah.
Sit down, watch the video, discuss the specifics for your business and what that looks like and what are people's thoughts on it. And that's where the real training and the real action happens. It's not in the content itself, it's in the implementation or discussion of it. So
well, emulsions, there's dual cure emulsion, there's pure photopolymers, there's other options, but then you have to bring it around to here's what we use and here's why we use it. And so the more sense your business makes to your employees, the more excited they are about being a part of that business. So your vendors are the next. Speaking of emulsions, I could call my emulsion supplier and say, hey, listen, could you come on Monday morning at 8:00 and do 10 minutes on the different types of emulsion that are available and what they do? And that vendor's going to go, absolutely. I am in this to help you. You know why? Because that vendor's helping you. You're buying from that vendor. That I've never had a vendor say, no, I'm not going to come. And chances are pretty good they're going to bring donuts. So
exactly. I was just thinking that. Oh man, get the donuts too.
I did have Harry Austin was joking. Recently, he was telling me that a vendor came in to the office and brought a box of 6 donuts. And he's like, I have to figure out how to divvy these up among all the departments at Equipment Zone. These donuts that were brought in. Use your brain, vendors. The next source is something like trade show seminars. None of us mind as trade show presenters if you're sitting there taking notes. In fact, we love the fact that you're sitting there taking notes. Adrian Palmer from DTF Printing sat in on one of my seminars in Atlantic City, and I've never seen someone take so many notes in my entire life. She was just like, flipping pages and taking notes. I'm like, wow, you are really good at what you do, because she's never going to do we were talking about DTG printer. She's never going to be a DTG printer, but she wanted to know about DTG printing. And I've already seen an article where I was quoted in it from that seminar, but none of us mind if you're there writing notes. And guess what? Anybody that's doing a trade show seminar is already there freely sharing their knowledge and their information. You can share it forward to your employees. So take advantage, go sit in on a seminar that for something you think, I already know this, but guess what? They're going to tell you some tidbits of information that are going to be great for how to share what you know. So we are all good with that.
And heck, Terry, there's been seminars that I've sat in multiple times that you've done, right? And in fact, to a point where maybe I could teach some of them, but still, every time, like same thing happens like with Dane Clement. Man, I'll go sit in his class. I'm like, yep, I've heard Dane talk about Photoshop 100 times. And every single time I get something out of it. And as a business owner, my next thought would be, okay, now I'm taking that golden nugget. I'm going to take it back to my shop. I'm going to share it with my employees, and they're going to go, oh my gosh, you know so much. And I'm going to go, yeah, because I sat in on Dane's class, or I sat in on Terry's class. I sat in on Jay's class. Right. So,
or that analogy was the perfect way to explain this process. I'm trying to tell you how to do this thing. And in this seminar, I learned how to say it so that it makes sense to everybody, so we're there on purpose to share information. So we don't care if you take that information home with you. In fact, we love the idea of you doing that. And there are lots of resources for information, but Aaron, if I'm a regular viewer of the Two Regular Guys podcast, I might take the secret sauce. Hey everybody, those are available, just the secret sauce. You can go out and grab just those and use those as a put it on the TV in the break room and talk about how it impacts you and your business. And so that is a 5215 in a package. All you have to do is talk about it at the end. So
yeah. I'm trying to go grab the playlist there on YouTube of of the secret sauce so I can share it in the comments there. But it's taking me longer than I'm not Eric Good here. So all right.
So anyway, Aaron, I hopefully that all made sense to everybody, and it's just I am and maybe it's just the way my mind works, but I am always thinking about solving problems. And when I first got started in business, when I was a young business owner, I thought, well, it can't be this simple. I can't, I simplify things down for people. And I'm sure that bigger businesses that have a lot more experience than me do this better. No, they don't. They don't do anything. They do very little. And so early on, it struck me, and maybe a benefit to me not to be an MBA guy and not to be, I'm just a kid with a journalism degree trying to figure out how to run a business. And that was probably the greatest benefit of all, because I just tried to break things down and simplify it so everybody can clearly understand it. And I think that business owners should try to think that way. Just break it down into simple bite-sized pieces, fun size, as they say at Halloween time, and start sharing your information, your knowledge, and reach out to us and tell us how it's going.
Yeah, definitely. We want to hear about that. But I did mention at the top, right, this is something that you can use even if you're a solopreneur. So just if I could throw that little tidbit on here. The same concept is true even if you're on your own. Like I said, you got to do here. So if you're wanting to get better at something, right, if you commit 15 minutes to just learning about that, figuring out how I'm going to implement that. So I call it work on your business, because if you look at all the things you do in the day of your business, most of them are working in, right? I've got to send invoices. I've got to do the production. I got to, answer the emails. I got to work in my business. And if we'll take that same 5215 concept back out and say, work on my business 15 minutes a week, right? Like, you're going to be ahead of everybody in that same realm too. And then when you hire, you're going to have a structure in place that you can bring them along with too, Terry. So I guess any thoughts on that?
Well, 100%. And we've talked about this before. You treat your business as if you have employees, even if it's just you, because you have to build the systems. And because when you bring on that first employee, you don't want to go back to square one. You want to have systems in place, and you want to have operating procedures that as if you have employees. So have that mindset, to make notes and start building the concepts and that you can easily share. But it's hard. It's a mindset. But maybe your first 15 minutes of starting your business is thinking about that.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. Perfect. All right, Terry, anything that we missed in that, or I think we?
No, I think we are. Before we started doing secret sauce, I'd say, man, we're right on time.
We'll get it. I think we'll be close. We're definitely going to go bonus time a little bit. But all right. Well, then real quick for everybody, just so you guys know where we're going to be, or if you're looking to get more and hang out. So for me, I want you guys to make sure that you have joined the OSG Facebook group. So we've got a group called Fall in Love with Your Business. And if you're facing challenges, you want advice, or celebrate successes together, right? So we do a lot of reflective. It's definitely very mindset heavy over there. But we want you to be part of that. So if you'll come to Facebook facebook.com/groups Fall in Love OSG. You can join that group over there. As far as being out on the road, my next road trip beyond the event that talked about in the advertisement there in the middle, the Fun Live, a couple weeks after that, I guess it's like a week after that, June 15th, I will be in Long Beach, California. And I'm trying to get to the banners, but I'm just going to miss it. But it's all good. If you go to graphics-pro-expo, you can learn more, but I'm going to be talking about how to master pricing for profit on June 15th. And looking forward to being out there in Long Beach with everybody. So then the other thing to note here is that my book, The Fundamentals of Business Success, is out there and available. So if you want to get your copy, just go over to osg.link/FBS. And now that I've got the book out there, Terry, we've got Micromanaging Your Way to Success to write. I mean, we got so much to do.
Yeah. All right.
What about you, Terry?
Well, my next screen printing business course, I'm going to be in Chicago at Atlas Screen Supply June 8th and 9th. That class is sold out. Atlas Screen Supply sells out nearly all of their classes.
Okay.
So my next available class with any openings will be August 3rd through 4th. My next workhorse class in Phoenix, we haven't picked a date yet in the fall. Too hot here in the summertime because the workhorse products is an all glass front building, so no amount of air conditioning makes it work to have class. Because we're coming into uber summer here in Phoenix, so watch for the workhorse date as well. I'll be talking DTG and DTF printing. Which technology is right for you at Impressions Expo in Fort Worth. That'll be in October. I will be in the Equipment Zone booth at Printing United in Las Vegas. That's September 10th through 12th.
Wow.
Hope to see you guys there. Aaron and I will be recording a live show. And Aaron, I don't know if you've heard, but they're really kind of revamping that whole area for podcasts, and it's all part of the Garment Zone. And I think it's going to be very cool, and very excited to be recording a live show there again. And watch for all my upcoming events at terrycombs.com.
Definitely check that out. And yes, you're exactly right. Printing United. Can't believe we're talking about it already, but you are right. It's more around the corner than we think. As far as Erich goes, Terry, I'm not 100% sure where he's at, so we'll just kind of leave it at that. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the take up this afternoon or not, but even if you miss Erich this afternoon, if I can find his website in the banners here. Yep, there it is. ErichCampbell.com. You can get all of his past episodes and stuff like that. So make sure that you're following along over there at ErichCampbell.com. And so we're wishing him the best, and we'll hopefully have him back with us next week, Terry. So, all right. Absolutely. Shall we dive into the secret sauce here?
Let's do.
Here we go.
All right, today we're going to talk about time studies and how to make your production more efficient. And Aaron, we want to do 3 or 4 minutes. I know we could do an entire show on this, so I will try to be brief. But this falls right back into the program we just had about I don't have time. I can't take 15 minutes here. Can't take 15 minutes there. And something that I did along with a course that I took was to block out 15-minute segments of my day and just write briefly what I was doing in that 15 minutes. And maybe 30 minutes of it, I was eating lunch. Well, I write lunch in there. And you will be shocked to find what you really spend your time doing. In my scenario, I was spending 60% of my time on some level of scheduling production. And I remember the instructor in the class said, "So that's something you personally have to do?" And I'm like, no, I have a formula that I use. And you could teach someone else to do that? Yes, I could. So I hired a part-time person. It was a perfect job. It was a mom who had to get her kid on the school bus in the morning and had to be home when the bus arrived. So she worked in that window and scheduled after really a small amount of explanation. She started doing all of my scheduling and filling in my schedule book and scheduling each press. And it just opened up my day on being able to manage the business as opposed to being caught in the minutia. And you fall into this.
Yeah.
It starts as a brief thing, and all of a sudden you find that you're spending 60% of your time doing it. I had no idea. I was
Yep.
stunned at that. But
Okay.
Aaron, what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly like this is what it's all about. Is so we don't have time management problem, we have a priority management problem, and this tool right here will give you the information you need to change it. So, Terry, let's talk about that. Let's get what like nuts and bolts. What's the simplest way we could go about doing this?
Well, one of the things that I do is tracking downtime, because most of us in a screen printing shop, and I think in most decorating shops, we pretty much have the actual printing, the production part of it down. It's everything else that costs us our time. So I have, once or twice a year, I will have these stacks of sheets at the end of the dryer belt, and every time that press stops, they write down the time. And then I have all these categories of why it was stopped: looking for merchandise, question for the art department, didn't have all the tools at the press. And they'll check it off and they'll write down when they start it up again. And I'll take all those things, all those sheets after a week, and compile them and say, okay, we were down for 7 hours and 15 minutes because of issues with products. In other words, we didn't have the mediums, or they didn't bring the smalls, or they brought too many extra larges. And what I'll do is I'll break those down according to what cost me the most time. I'm not going to try to fix every problem. I'm not going to take all 12 categories and say, okay, today we're fixing all these things. The thing that cost me the most time, I'm going to work on and find a way to solve that problem. And after I do that, what was next? What was my next problem? Now we're going to focus the next couple of weeks on fixing that problem. And, Aaron, I've done consulting in production shops where I say, I can double your production in 30 days, guaranteed. And people are like, that's impossible. It's not impossible. That double in production is all based on all the other things that happens in your shop when you're not decorating a garment. And I've never failed at that. I have always been able to double production in any production shop. And even though the owner's like, can't happen, impossible.
Not possible.
We're very efficient. So anyway, but Aaron, I'm a pen and paper guy. You're a technology guy. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, sometimes we like the technology, right? Because we think it makes it easier, and that's not always true. So the simple method of pen and paper, probably the great place to start. But if you really want to kind of dig into this, there's it's a little cube that you get. So it's called Timular, and I'm going to put the link on the screen here. So TIMEULAR.com, and you basically pre-program the cube, and it's got these different sides. And every time you switch to a different part of the process, or something's down or whatever, you program that, and you just flip the cube over, and it's automatically tracking whatever is up on the cube at that moment. And then as soon as you flip it again, it changes and it's tracking the next thing. And so it's just really a way of tracking it without having to write it down. If you want to do it another way, where you're doing kind of like the pen and paper, but you're just entering it, there's also a program called Toggle, TOGGL tracker. And you can actually put it on your phone. It can be on your web browser. So it just tracks, it helps you kind of manage and track your time of what you're doing. But then I think the important part here, Terry, is you started talking about the categorization of it. So can you just, let's close out with that. Tell us about categorizing that review, and then I'll talk a little bit about the honest self-reflection.
Well, I think part of that is, and nobody knows more about your production floor than your production employees. And so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sit down with the people running the presses, the people at the end of the belt, and say, let's talk about what's costing you time, what's keeping you from getting product from point A to point B being the shipping department. And and start breaking down those categories. And there might be some categories that you weren't aware of. Maybe you're waiting for paperwork from the front office, and you had no idea that everybody was kind of standing waiting to get paperwork. And so you build your categories like that. And as I said, but track it for a week, and because there are anomalies in there. But if you track it for a week, then it's really going to be easy to then total those things up and then start saying, okay, you know what the solution was? I was losing the most amount of time on the product being pulled in correctly. Well, I had to go to the expense of a second person in the warehouse had to recount every order. And did that cost me some additional time? It did. Did it completely eliminate that problem on the production floor? Absolutely wiped it out. Absolutely wiped it out. There were two things. One, it was recounted. Two, whoever counted it the first time signed their name. Whoever counted it the second time signed their name. Signing your name to something makes you, Aaron, honest.
Exactly. and with that, right, it is that honest reflection, right? What are the data's there. You're going to hide from the things, right? So maybe you're doing this for yourself, right? Okay, I am actually scrolling Facebook way too long, right? I just have to be honest with myself, right? I can't just willpower get away from it. So maybe I need to delete it off of my phone, right? So that's that last part. You have to take action on the information, or doing this time study is just a waste of your time. So any closing thoughts, Terry? So we kind of put the last little bit of paprika on the sauce there.
I think we've covered it. I think everybody, it's going to be unique to what you do, but spend a little time thinking about, especially downtime. Think about downtime and start tracking it. And I believe that's our secret sauce.
There we go. All right, Terry. Well, that was fun, and we did pretty well, I thought. So, congrats on that. All right. Well,
limiting ourselves to not a 3-part secret sauce. Next week we'll continue this.
We definitely could have made that happen very easily, but I actually have some secret sauce ideas in my head now. Thank you for that. So, all right. Well, first off, thanks to all the listeners. We really appreciate you guys, and just if you're here in the States, have a wonderful Memorial Day on Monday, and maybe you're a solopreneur, so make sure you do give yourself a little bit of time, right? Most people will be working on Monday, I've heard, and it's like, give yourself a break, okay? But also do take that time and just pause and remember all of the men and women who gave their lives over the past 250 years defending the American freedom. That's what Memorial Day is all about here in the United States. So just great honor that we get to live in this place, Terry, where people have given the ultimate sacrifice for this country. So
exactly right. We also want to thank our show producer, Erich Campbell. Couldn't be with us today, but Erich is, like you and I, Aaron, all working all during the week on getting the show prepared, and of course, Eric's usually there pushing the buttons and turning the wheels. But appreciate everything you do, Erich. Yeah,
definitely appreciate Erich very much. And Terry, next week we are efforting. So if you guys have anything, we've got a couple of people that we're trying to get pinned down here, but otherwise you will have another fantastic host show from us. But let us know what you want to talk about, right? We're going to keep talking about the things that show up for us, but if you have a particular topic in your business that you are struggling with, and we'll go find an expert if we have to, whatever it takes. That's what this is all about, education and getting you the information that you need to make your business better. So,
and Aaron, Eric or Jay Bassell offered us kind of an interesting concept that I've been rolling around in my head, thinking I like it more and more. So we'll talk about that during the week, and we might have our friend Jay Bassell on here with us next Friday.
That's right. We do have a great show. So we got plenty of things happening, but we're always open, and so we're gonna be excited for all the things coming up. So
exactly. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery,
and that was the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome. Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. check out our website at 2regularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/2regularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/2regularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, 2regularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.